Is it really worth all of the hype? I feel like it is. I feel like it is worth the hype. Me for 25 minutes being like, I want to buy this really bad, and then being like, but I don't need that at all. Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. That was super sweet of you. Oh my goodness, I feel very much like a tropical bird today. I'm gonna have to zoom you in so we can get into this eye look because you guys, I'm in love with these colors. So I created this look using the new Oden's Eye X Tina from the Fancy Face Hummingbird eyeshadow palette. I actually just uploaded a video of me reviewing this whole collection and trying it for the first time the other day, so I'll link it on screen and down below if you want to watch it afterwards. But this is the color story inside. I used this beautiful green shimmery shade, this beautiful turquoise shimmery shade, and this gorgeous matte, what do you call this shade? Is it fuchsia? No, I don't think it's fuchsia. Is it magenta? I don't think it's magenta either. I don't know the words to describe this pink, but it's like my favorite kind of pink. So I'm just loving this eye look so much, giving very summer vibes, even though it's feeling very fall outside. But you know what? It's fine because I feel like a tropical bird and I absolutely love that. But that's not what this video is about. You did not click on this video to find out how I have turned myself into the human embodiment of a hummingbird. No, you clicked on this video because you, like me, have an interest in chatting about new makeup releases, maybe a little bit of an anti-haul, maybe a little bit of desperately trying to convince myself not to buy things, but it's probably going to be mostly an anti-haul because every time I try to just chat about new makeup releases, I always just end up talking about how I don't want any of them. But you know, I'm going in judgment free. I got all my images saved on my phone here, and I don't really have, you know, definitive opinions on whether or not I'm gonna buy things, so hopefully we can figure it out together here today. So if that sounds like a topic that is interesting to you and you want to chat about new makeup releases with me, then I encourage you to please subscribe and keep on watching 'cause it's coming at you right now. Also, if you hear any construction noises or anything, they are currently replacing bricks on my apartment building, like right outside my window, so I don't really know when it's gonna stop or anything. So, you know, exercise a little patience with me. That's New York City, baby. You'll have people shaving bricks off the side of your building sometimes. Alright, so the first new makeup release we have to talk about, I don't want to talk about it. Well, I do want to talk about it, but we have to talk about the new Halloween collection from Colourpop. They are coming back with a Hocus Pocus collection round 2. Now, let me refresh your memory from last year, just in case, you're just getting into the makeup game. I'll catch you up real quick. So this is the Hocus Pocus collection that Colourpop came out with last year. People really lost their minds over it. You know, but it was kind of split. People either like lost their dang minds over it, or they were like, give it a skip. I was one of the people who decided to skip it. You know, I definitely felt like I had all these colors, but this collection in general caused a lot of controversy because they did not have a big supply of stock, so a lot of people didn't end up getting it who really wanted to get it. I actually had a friend who worked at Ulta at the time who said it was one of like the worst days they worked on their job because people like lined up outside to get it and were incredibly angry when they couldn't get anything. So you know, the whole Colourpop and Hocus Pocus collaboration in general already has a lot of like drama around it, if you will, but they decided to come back with a round 2 and it's different this year. So Colourpop didn't announce this until after I finished filming yesterday, but they're actually coming out with limited quantities of the palette from last year and the whole collection from last year, so get it if you want. And so they have come out with the Witching Hour palette, and I will admit when I first saw this I was like, okay, I'm not gonna buy it, but I'm not furious about it. And I think that I feel that way because it does kind of sort of feel like they took feedback from last year. A lot of people said that this palette last year looked like, that'll be the brick shaving. Live in New York City, they said. It'll be fun, they said. Did you know I woke up this morning with a literal roach on my window? On the outside, luckily, but just pressed up against the window saying good morning, wake up. So yeah, that's been my experience living here so far. It's been good. I love living in the big city. Alright, hello. Sorry, the lighting probably just changed a lot. That's because it's many hours later because they did not stop shaving the bricks off the side of my building and I had to stop and go to work, but I'm on my lunch break now and we're back in business. So like I was saying, a lot of people said that last year's palette just didn't really embody Hocus Pocus all that much. So when I saw this year's Colourpop Hocus Pocus collab, I was like, okay, we got some some blues, we got some purples in there, and for some reason I was like, oh, that's better. But obviously I still don't want to buy this because it's not any colors that I need in my collection. But what really made me want to talk about this collection with you is an edit that somebody made that was reposted onto the Colourpop Me Instagram account, and they posted this picture of the new Hocus Pocus palette compared to the Colourpop It's a Mood palette, which is one of their mega palettes that only came out a little while ago, and it's the same picture. Insert that meme of Pam from The Office. It's the same picture. They're the same. Now, granted, somebody did edit this to move the shades around so that they show up in the same order. Like, that's not exactly how it looks like in the It's a Mood palette. Like I said, it is a bigger palette, but it does contain all the same shades, which just continues to prove my theory that Colourpop is just recycling shades at this point. And like, I get it. They make a lot of makeup, they come out with a lot of palettes, they have a lot of eyeshadow, but you know, it's still a lack of creativity. It still is just, you know, you just came out with that palette. Come out with something different. Especially knowing how companies work and knowing that production for something typically starts like at least a few months, more likely like 6 months to a year beforehand. So like, did they just not care that it was the same as the It's a Mood palette? I don't know. I don't like the repetitiveness of it. I also just don't like the colors all that much. You know, I like Hocus Pocus a lot, but I wouldn't call myself a super fan by any means, so I feel like some of the colors feel Hocus Pocusy, but you know, also as I always say with Colourpop palettes, I think they can just skip that row of neutrals. Like, if you've bought anything from Colourpop before, you probably already have all of those neutrals, so you don't need it constantly being repeated in every palette, though I know some people would disagree because they like to have everything all laid out right there. I'm not that type of gal. I like to have like 4 palettes laid out in front of me every time I do my makeup, and I also don't use neutrals. So like, there's, you know, I got a laundry list of reasons why I don't need this palette, but in conclusion, I am anti-hauling this. But I will say one thing from the collection that I really like is they're coming out with a spider face stamp. I think that's super, super cute. Even though I don't like the Colourpop face stamp formula, I've decluttered 2 of them from my collection because they stain so bad. So just be warned, if you're gonna get the spider face stamp, because it looks super cute, like I kind of want it, but I'm not gonna get it because I know that it stains your face really bad. So just be prepared to have like little purple spiders on your face for like a few days after that, because it doesn't even come off with an oil cleanser. But you know, the lip products are cute too. I'm just talking about this way too long, I'm sorry, but I did like that they came out with a black lipstick. I think that was fun. So you know what, enough about the Colourpop Hocus Pocus collection. Let's talk about another new makeup release. Alrighty, let's talk about this Pat McGrath holiday release. So I'm not gonna lie, when it first launched, like when I first looked, you're gonna see this is a pattern with me and makeup. When I first see a new makeup release, automatically serotonin starts going, or what is it, dopamine. The dopamine is ripping through my veins and I get this feeling of euphoria for a moment, and then my Virgo sun barricades back through the door and is like, hey, wait a minute, you don't need any of this stuff. And that's how I felt with this Pat McGrath holiday collection. I was excited to see color, you know, especially because her holiday collection palettes are always less expensive than her regular palettes. I don't own any Pat McGrath palettes. I only own one lipstick and some glosses from Pat McGrath, but I don't own any of her palettes just because, quite honestly, I cannot afford them and I never catch them on a sale. But I like to see that she does come out with a more affordable palette for holiday. Affordable, still like almost $80, but affordable by comparison. And I did like seeing that there were some fun colors in here. Like I see some turquoises and some greens in there, and that's really well and good. You know, we love some turquoises and greens, but do I need turquoises and greens? No, I don't. I got them right here and I got them in like 3 other palettes. So for me, I just don't need this palette just for a couple shades. I just am at the point where I have so much eyeshadow that unless the color story is like unbelievable, blowing you away, never seen before type of stuff, I don't need it. But one thing I am kind of interested in is they have some blush trios. Or are they blush? Well, there's like 2 blushes and a highlighter. What are they calling them? Yeah, so they're called the Divine Blush and Glow Trios, and I'm definitely most attracted to the one with the really vibrant blush in it, because you guys know I love a good vibrant blush. They didn't list the prices for that yet. Trend Mood only has 1 post about everything, and I haven't seen an update since then. I'm sure it's still gonna be way too expensive, and I'm probably not gonna wanna pay for it. Do they ever combine sales with stuff for holiday? I feel like they don't. I feel like that's not a thing. Maybe Black Friday, you know, and every once in a while Pat McGrath will just randomly have a 30% off sale, so maybe I'll wait for that, because I've never tried her blush or highlighter formula, and it looks absolutely beautiful. Now, do I think it'll be worth the price? I don't know, probably not. Something tells me probably not, but I'll be sure to let you guys know if I do pick it up. And if you've ever tried a highlighter or blush from Pat McGrath before, please do let me know your experience, because I would love to hear from you. And if you tell me it's not all it's hyped up to be, then maybe I won't try it at all. So I don't know, you know, that's good. These videos are so funny because it's always just like me for 25 minutes being like, I want to buy this really bad, and then being like, but I don't need that at all. Literally life of a Virgo sun and Sagittarius moon. It's nuts. And a Libra rising, so I can't make decisions. It's chaos all the time. Oh my gosh. I've had so much coffee today, I'm like shaking. But anyway, in conclusion, definitely skipping the palette, maybe getting the blush trios, and everything else. There's some quads, I don't care, not colors interesting to me, and there's a highlighter that looks like it's a little too deep for my skin tone, so really it's just the blush trios that I'm interested out of all of this, and the rest of the Pat McGrath holiday collection I am anti-hauling. Alright you guys, what do you say we talk about Smashbox and Becca? Oh my goodness, I feel like I've been talking about this rumor for months, ever since I got my Becca Champagne Pop highlighter from TJ Maxx. Every time I use it, I feel guilty about using it, but then I'm like, wait, I heard a rumor that Smashbox might be buying the formulas, and now it's official, and honestly, it's really, really cool. So when I first heard the rumor, what I thought was happening was like they were buying the formulas and they were gonna like rebrand it as a Smashbox highlighter, but just using the Becca illuminating powder. I don't know what they call their highlighters. So I basically thought that Smashbox was gonna release like a new highlighter, but it was gonna be Becca's formula. But I'm really happy to see that they're calling it Smashbox Loves Becca, and it seems like they're being pretty transparent about the fact that these are Becca products. Like they are not changing anything at all. It doesn't even really look like they're changing the packaging other than putting Smashbox Loves Becca on it. It still says Becca all the way around and everything, and they're adding new shades to their color correctors, which is amazing. I've actually never used Becca's under eye color corrector before, so I didn't realize that there weren't multiple shades to begin with, but I'm so happy to see that they're adding more shades. Adding more shades to any makeup product is never, ever, ever a bad thing, so I think that's awesome. I think it's great that they're gonna have a forever home at Smashbox, because these were, you know, these were cult classics for a reason. The Becca under eye color corrector and the Becca highlighter formula were, I believe, products that kept the company afloat a lot longer than maybe it should have, or maybe it could have. So I think this is really great that it's going to Smashbox. I've never bought a single thing from Smashbox before, so maybe this will give me a reason to. I don't know, should I try the under eye color corrector? I have a color corrector that I like that one of you guys recommended to me, thank you so much, and it's a drugstore one. It's the Flower Beauty color corrector, and I really love this. This one also comes in 3 shades. I have the lightest shade, but I've heard that the Becca one is creamier, and I'm like, creamier? Oh my gosh, sign me up. I love all things creamy because I have dry skin, so I don't know, should I try the color corrector? Should I not? What do you like from Smashbox? Have you bought anything from Smashbox before? I know their primerizer used to be everyone's like go-to primer, but I never wanted to spend $40 on primer, so I never tried it. But let me know what I should try from Smashbox, if I should place a Smashbox order at all, and also let me know about your feelings about Becca going over to Smashbox. I don't know, what do you think? If you have a negative opinion, please let me know, because I'm interested to hear like how you could have a negative opinion. I feel like it's just such a good thing, but as always, please do let me know in the comments. And now let's talk about another new makeup release. I guess that wasn't really a new makeup release, but it's a new home for an old makeup release. But okay, now moving on to a new makeup release. All right, now let's talk about something new from Anastasia Beverly Hills. They came out with an eyeshadow palette for the first time in what feels like literally years. I think it may have actually been years since they came out with an eyeshadow palette. They've been coming out with complexion over the last year, so this is, you know, where they're back with another eyeshadow palette, and it's disappointing in my opinion. And I'm gonna try to be as unbiased as I can with this, because clearly, if you haven't gathered so far, neutrals aren't really my jam. I'm more of a colorful gal, so these colors aren't super appealing to me. But what I want to focus on in this video is talking about this format, because this format is very strange to me. I mean, it's not strange, I've seen it a million times before. They're putting face shades into an eyeshadow palette to try to make it more versatile. You see that with a lot of holiday palettes, especially like Too Faced used to be notorious for putting face palette shades and eyeshadow palettes. Makes you feel like you're getting a better bang for your buck. You're not, they're overcharging you. So, you know, it's not a revolutionary thing, but what's just weird about it is that, like, clearly these are supposed to be face palette shades, and clearly they're not going to work on most faces. And I think most people would agree, and I gathered this from reading the comments under this Trend Mood post, that people don't want face palette shades in the palette, especially because it's not going to work for them. You can see from the swatches that the only person who that pink shade looks like a blush on is the super fair person, and even as a super fair person, like, I don't want that as a blush shade. I don't know, it looks dusty to me. It looks like you're gonna have to build it up to get it to show up at all. And the bronzing shade, you know, bronzers are something people are so picky about. Maybe they're not. I'm very picky about bronzers and finding the right tone. So aside from the fact that the bronzer doesn't even look like a bronzer on the model with the deepest skin tone that they did the swatches on, I don't think that bronzer would be good on me either. Like, I think it would be orange. It looks like it's gonna be orange. Just leave it out. You know, we don't want it. If we wanted a bronzer from Anastasia, I would buy a bronzer from Anastasia. They have bronzers. They just came out with new bronzers this year. It really just feels like such a marketing tactic, and I know that everything is marketing, and I know that life is business and numbers, but it really just feels like a little too marketed to. You know, like I was saying earlier, a lot of time brands with holiday palettes will throw in face palettes into the eyeshadow palette to make it feel more worth your money, and with this palette it just feels like that's so clearly what they're doing, and they didn't even try to hide it, and it just looks bad. It's boring. Do you remember when Anastasia used to be like an exciting brand? Ugh, I feel like that was before Norvina took over, you know, because didn't she take over the last couple years, and now Anastasia is like still on, but it's like mostly Norvina. I don't know, this palette just absolutely bores me to tears. Like, I know that rosy tones are popular this year. You know, we saw it in that Fenty palette as well that Fenty came out with, and Natasha Denona just came out with, I think, the retro palette, which is rosy too. So like, I'm getting that rosy tones are trendy, but I just feel like this palette is, you know, get your rosy tones somewhere else. This one looks boring to me, and you're probably not going to use those face shades as much as you think you are. So for me, this Anastasia Beverly Hills holiday collection is anti-hauled. Alright, let's talk about a new makeup release from an indie makeup brand that looks amazing. Let's talk about the new Surge palette from Blend Bunny. Have you guys tried anything from Blend Bunny before? I was vaguely interested in their Blends palette after it went viral on TikTok, but I didn't even have a chance with that palette. It sold out so quick, and then honestly, I just forgot about it. I have a lot of colorful eyeshadow palettes, but this Surge palette I am interested in, because I feel like I look at this palette and I just see the grungy rainbow palette of my dreams, because clearly, you know, you got your rainbow shades down there, but also you have like deeper versions of all of those shades and deeper shimmery versions of all of those shades, and like some pastel versions, but they're not like regular pastels, they're grunge pastels, so they're cool. So I don't know, like there's definitely some shades look kind of similar, and I did hear people saying that when they first started teasing the palette, but when you look at the swatches, they don't look as similar. I don't know, dude. I'm not sure if I want to get this palette or not, but I am very interested in it. It might be sold out already. Is it sold out? Let me see. No, it's not sold out. How about that? Both palettes are currently in stock. Okay, well then maybe I have a decision to make. Do I want to get the regular one? Because the regular Blends palette, it's not regular versus not regular. It's the Blends palette versus a Surge palette. But the Blends palette, you know, also has some deeper versions of those shades, not as many deeper versions as those shades, but I'm looking at them next to each other and I'm like, what's the diff? Oh, the Blends palette's all mattes. Oh, I feel so silly. I didn't realize that was the difference, but honestly, I could go for an all mattes rainbow palette. I don't know. What do you guys think? Have you tried either of these? Have you tried the Blend Bunny Blends or the Blend Bunny Surge? I don't know if anyone's gotten their Surge yet, but did you buy the Surge palette? I would love to know. If you have the Blends palette, let me know. Is it really worth all of the hype? I feel like it is. I feel like it is worth the hype. I don't know. I need you to influence me on whether or not to buy it, because I don't know what to do, but a rainbow palette really does just get me going. Rainbow grunge. Ah, I love it. So yeah, let me know if you would get either of these palettes and if you've tried anything from Blend Bunny Cosmetics. Alright, you guys, and with that, we've reached the end of the video. There's more things I could talk about, but I like to try to keep it to 5 things per anti-haul or new makeup release video, just so it doesn't get too overwhelming. But if you want to see more from me, I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of new makeup releases to talk about lately. I would be happy to do a part 2. I'd be happy to talk about new makeup releases because right now we're in that real sweet spot part of the year where we have both Halloween releases and holiday releases coming out. So there's a lot coming at you all at once. We're seeing the stuff that's hopefully gonna go on sale for Black Friday. So it's a really exciting time of year to be a makeup consumer, and I am just taking it all in and anti-hauling most of it out. But let me know if you want to see more anti-haul soon. Let me know what you're anti-hauling this month or what new makeup releases you're buying. You know, I love to know it all. I'm nosy. Let me know what you bought lately. Please tell me all about it. And I thank you so much for watching. Check out my description box if you're interested in any of the makeup on my face today. I also always put a little playlist down there. If you want to watch more videos of mine, I like to give a good, you know, variety of topics down there. So check out that description box. Follow me on Instagram at GlamGeoNYC. I'd love to connect with you there. And also in my description box, I will have a bunch of Black Lives Matter resources, resources to support the Asian American community, and resources to support the LGBTQ+ community. So please check those out if you haven't yet. And I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!